I've been with Handel Group for 16 years. The lucky thing about that is that now I get to do pretty much only what I love here. And this is what I love to do. This is my favorite thing to do. Teach groups of people the best freaking content that you can start using right away. Who knows what Handel Group is? Just raise your hand if you've heard of us, if you know who we are. Handel Group, okay, cool. I'm going to give you the quickest summary. I know that there's some people here who know me and have been to 500 webinars with me in the last year and a half, because I've done 500 webinars in the last year and a half. But some of you totally don't know me and you don't know Handel Group. So I'm just going to give you the quick rundown. Handel Group is a life coaching company. We're also an executive coaching company. So we teach a methodology called the Handel method. It's a method of getting what you want in life, but we teach it at places like MIT, Stanford, Columbia, Yale, NYU, the New York City Public Schools, where my kids go. And with companies big and small around the world, and with individuals all around the world, everything from doctors, lawyers, actors, artists, stay-at-home parents, activists, obviously, really humans from everywhere doing everything. That's who we serve. And we have a very particular, robust methodology for first having you articulate your dreams. And I'll say this, Inner You Life is the digital version of our coaching system. And Inner You Life has 12 modules. Okay. Today, we are literally going to zoom into module 9. So we're going advanced today. I'm not giving you, I'll weave in some basics, but we're going into a very advanced piece of the methodology that pops up in the process of, okay, I've articulated what I most want. That's what we do in module 1, articulation of dream. What impact do you want to make? What career change do you want to make? How do you want to feel in your body? How do you want to be in your love life? We articulate the dream. Then we have 11 modules on how to overcome the obstacles. And by the time we get to 9, it's like, wait, there's other people involved. There's only so much I can do on my own. Has anyone noticed? Only so much I can do on my own to get to this dream, whatever it is. Okay. So by module 9, we're deep into the art of honesty and how to have a difficult conversation. So I'm telling you this so you understand that I'm pulling an advanced piece out of context. At the end of our webinar, I'm going to actually show you the whole 12 modules of Inner You, and you will see how this fits in with the whole gestalt, if you will, of what we're really enabling people with. But you should also just know this is one piece, and there's more to be said. So we'll see you. Hopefully see you in different other webinars. All right. So I'm Lori. I'm a New Yorker, born and bred, 3 kids, husband, business, all the things, all the life things. When I came to Handel Group, it had been after many years of other types of personal growth. I don't know if y'all are self-help junkies, but I was and am. Therapy courses, yoga books, Tai Chi, meditation, etc., all the things. But nothing impacted me the way that the Handel method did, in the sense that I learned practical tools that I was then held to account to actually implement, i.e. Art of Difficult Conversations. That one tool put me into my life actively, making the changes that I wanted to make in a way that none of the other ones did. So that's why I'm particularly keen and excited to teach you this particular methodology. Now, is anybody here already a pro at difficult conversations? You're like, I could lead this. I love difficult conversations. I'm great at it. I do it all the time. Anybody? Actually, I'm going to give everybody a scale. Let's find ourselves on a scale. What Handel Group, we love a good scale. So I'm going to give you a quick scale to look at. Let's imagine, it wants to leave the meeting. No, I don't want to leave the meeting. So here's the free to be yourself scale, right? Imagine you're totally free to be comfortable in your skin, say whatever you think, encourage others to say the same. That's a 5. All the way to a 1, you're afraid of people. You don't say what you think. You're hiding on purpose. You don't even know what you think. You're like hidden even to yourself. 2 is you wish you could say what you think, but you don't. But at least you could hear it. 3 is you'll speak up when all conditions are right. And 4 is you almost always speak up, but there's a few taboo topics for a few taboo people, or a few reasons you have in your head as to why you cannot. Please write into the comments, which is the number that best describes you. Oh, you already see, you're participators. I knew you were participators. You already know. We have a wonderful curve. Amazing. Thank you, everybody, for admitting. And by the way, if at any point I ask you to share something and you don't want to say it to everyone, which is my favorite, is if you say it to everyone, because then we get to know each other, you can just literally pick privately to only message me. So just know you never have to reveal your deepest innermost to everyone. But if you want to, I wouldn't be sad, because then everybody gets to, feel more connected to everyone else. And as you can see, nobody is alone in any of the ratings because there are multiples of all of them. And thank you for anyone who elucidated. Okay. For those of you who didn't get to vote, I'll put up the slide again, and I will move on to say that one of the things we need to do in order to free you up to speak is to introduce you to the voices in your head that you're busy talking with, because you are busy having conversations. It's just conversations in your own head. Can anyone relate to that? Having conversations, but they're in you're playing all the roles, right? Like a marionette, right? So there's a few voices in your head that are talking to you pretty much at all times. They have something to say. We distinguish them as the chicken, the brat, and the weather reporter. All right. This is like a quick primer. This is module 2. Okay. I'm just giving you like a quick rundown. So the chicken is the voice of fear. It never dares to say something so honest as I am scared. That would be far too vulnerable and sweet. It says, I'm tired, I'm busy, I have too much to do, my kids need me. It will say something else, but it boils down to I'm scared. That's the voice of the chicken. Voice number 2, the brat. The brat will sometimes say the truth. I don't want it. I shouldn't have to. This is annoying. It's not fair. But the brat also can say other things that hide how bratty it really is. All of us have an inner brat. We never really grow up from the age of Jess's baby. We never really grow up from that when we don't feel like doing something that annoys us, okay? Or we think something's not fair. We have that child in us. That's the voice of the brat. And then the weather reporter is just like what it sounds like. Like, it's hot in August. My boss wouldn't understand. My mother will never be in for that. My kids will never cooperate with that. It rains in Seattle, okay? Like, I have nothing to do with it. I am the passive victim of my circumstances. That's weather reporter. Okay. Any questions about those 3 characters? Questions, comments, concerns? Unmute yourself, raise your hand. What do you need to know? Ready for another voice? Okay. Rachel's like, yes, give me another voice. Okay. The other voice that you have to deal with, or the other character we want to introduce you to, is your PR agent. So the PR agent you have is just like a PR agent you would hire, which is that's the person you send out on dates, on job interviews, in social situations to represent you to the world. And the PR agent presents what it thinks will be liked and palatable to others, and kind of keeps on the DL anything you think might not be liked by others. Can anyone relate to the concept of having a PR agent that you send out to meetings? and all you have to do is ask yourself, am I the same with my mother, my brother, my sister, my friend, all my different friends, all my coworkers, or am I a different person to different people? If you're a different person to different people, you definitely have a PR agent working for you for free, except it costs you your dreams. Okay. Now guess who the PR agent is out meeting with? Write it into the chat or say it out loud. Who is the PR agent? Oh, yes. Verina's got it. You get the joke, people? Other PR agents. PR agents meeting people. This is what dating is, you guys. People lying to each other. How would you like me to lie to you? How would you like me to lie to you? Oh, why don't I feel connected? Oh, don't I trust you? Right? Like, we are hilarious. If you're not at a 5, you're manipulating, you're putting on some kind of show, and other people are doing it to you. Of course they are. If you're doing it, of course they are. It's not evil. It's not immoral. It is the human freaking condition. Okay. So I'm going to make a pitch for why you should get yourself to a 5 on the scale. I'm going to make a pitch for why you should learn to do this like you would learn guitar. Like, you should apply yourself. You should think it's a method. You should think it's something you can learn. You should think it's something to practice. You should think it's something to get a teacher for. Like, you should treat it like an emergency to get to a 5. There are 5 main reasons that I think learning to tell the truth, you could say, the art of honesty, art of difficult conversations, will benefit you in your life. Anybody in for any of these? Do we like these? Feel free to pick your favorite and tell me why you picked it. Anybody want to unmute and tell me why you picked it? What's your favorite benefit of speaking up?
Clarity.
Go on. Why?
It gets the job done because everyone's aware.
Right. Here's what I like to remind people about clarity. We think we know what someone else is thinking. We think we know what's like, we literally have the conversation with ourselves that we already know. Does anybody admit that arrogance? When I call that arrogant, like if you really think you know what anyone else thinks or means, it suddenly reminds you like, oh, wait, I wouldn't want someone to think they know exactly what I think and feel about that. So maybe I am willing to open it up to not knowing. I often think of that, that line from A Few Good Men, you can't handle the truth. Like we walk around going, oh, they can't handle that. Like there's certain people that can't handle certain things and we get to decide, but we don't give them the power to decide. And that is not as nice as it looks. Not as nice as it looks. So even if you just learn to say this line, like if this line is the only thing you take away from today, I'd be very excited. When you said X or when you did X, I thought you meant Y. Is that right? When you said or did X, I thought you meant Y. Was that right? Did I get that right? Did I interpret that correctly? That I'm literally giving you the line that will give you clarity where you think you have clarity, but you do not have clarity. Okay, take a picture, write it down. This is good coaching, people. Okay. So there's also a profound equality that I think gets engendered when you approach people like they can handle it. And then you learn to speak in a way that's easy to hear. Okay. I think that's a great honor to the other people in your life and a great way to exemplify treating people as equals. 1-to-1, we call it in the handout method. Clarity and love. You probably have noticed that the people with whom you are closest, love, intimacy, trust. The people with whom you are closest are the people you have revealed aspects of yourself you are perhaps afraid to reveal. They heard it, they lived, you lived, and now you're closer. Has anyone ever had that experience? Or if you really think about who you have trust with, who you have intimacy with, that's for people you tell the truth to. I'm telling you, you can have that with everybody in your life. Your grocery worker, your babysitter, your friends, your family, your cousin, your distant cousin. These are experiences you can create. You don't just get lucky. You can actually create them. Some of us will never even reveal and be intimate unless we are forced to by an emergency, an injury, an illness. And I'm trying to get everyone to get on this before you need that type of situation. Okay. What happens when you start to reveal the truth about yourself? Whether it's a concern, a dream, a request, a judgment, a regret, is that other people then start telling you things. And so you get to actually connect about universal things with people that you love or people that you know. And that's awesome for an experience of being connected, whereas the PR agent business makes you feel disconnected, isolated, and alone. Resolution is the third benefit. So this is how many of you allow things to fester in relationships? Like you grumble in your head, but you don't say it out loud. I'm going to say that is one of the number one obstacles to your dreams, your health dreams, your love dreams, your career dreams, your relationship dreams, that willingness to fester. So the third benefit is resolution. If you become someone who's known as someone who will do a tough conversation, people relate to you like that. People don't gossip to you. You don't gossip to them. Gossip disappears in your life. Oh my gosh, time saver. Talk about mastering time. No gossip. And then guess what there's time for when you're not gossiping or complaining? And people know you that way. Guess what there's more time for? Honesty. Jackie says yes. Yeah. Anyone want to unmute? Fun. Alicia says, good. Dreams, David says. Get things done. Great. Resolution, productivity, depth. Yes. Collaboration, dreams coming true. I am telling you, we waste so much time. not being resolved with people. It's like the number one thing when we go into companies and help companies is we're literally teaching people how to have difficult conversations, because it's all that soft stuff that it stops people from doing their jobs, right? And aligning with their missions. Opportunity and money. If you become someone who is trustworthy to speak up, people trust you. They want to give you opportunities. They want to give you things to do. Even if you say things that aren't that nice, like even if you complain, you still get known as somebody who can be trusted to tell the truth. And therefore you will be more likely to be offered opportunity and, yes, money. It's true. Thank you for the private messages I'm getting. These are really awesome. Thank you, everybody, for participating. I think, was there one more? Leadership, right? Again, with that trust, with that empowerment, with the confidence that you build, you are also more likely to be up for leadership skills and hopefully up for leadership positions. And hopefully you use that leadership, of course, to fulfill your dreams. That's why we're here, to liberate you, to give you tools to fulfill your dreams. Okay. Despite all those awesome benefits, why the heck don't we speak up? Put some ideas in here. Why don't we speak up, or unmute and tell me your thoughts? I see fear. I see social norms.
Afraid.
Thank you, Sandra. Or Sandra. Which?
Sandra.
Fear. Thank you. Fear of judgment, alienate people, rejection. Who else? Anybody want to say one out loud?
You don't want to hurt feelings.
Nuria, trying to save someone's feelings. That's a very common one. Yes. Anybody else?
Social pressure.
Say that again.
Social pressure.
Social pressure. I think that was Deborah. Thank you. There are so many good ideas coming through. I can't even keep up with all of them. Interestingly, most people think we are trying to save other people's feelings and do not consider how much we are trying to save our own. There is a power dynamic to knowing and thinking something and not saying it out loud. Can we agree on that? Sandra, did you want to add something?
No, I'm just checked wrong.
Okay, cool. All right. So there's a power dynamic when you know something or have a judgment or have an opinion or even have a dream or a request or a desire, and you don't say it to the other people or person that it involves. So fear is the obvious reason, but you should not avoid confronting how much we love to control and manipulate other people. What are we so afraid of? I'll take some ideas. Anybody want to talk out loud?
Losing face.
Looking bad to other people.
Correct.
Yep. If only our lying and manipulation saved us from that, but it does not. But if only it did, it would be a good strategy, but it doesn't. We fear breaking the relationship. We fear vulnerability, rejection, losing a relationship, exposing ourselves, looking weak, society.
Or being treated differently.
Is that Angelique?
Yes.
Awesome. You fear being treated differently if you say something.
Or judgment, yeah.
Yes, judgment.
Rejection.
Thank you, Debbie. Rejection. Okay. Here's what I would like to boil it down to and see if this sits, like if you can find yourself in these four most popular, I think, truthiest answers as to what we're afraid of. We're afraid of hearing something we don't like. If we say, you know what, I think I deserve a raise. You know what, I think what you did was offensive. And they go, I don't think it was offensive. I think it's fine. Or I don't think you deserve a raise. Right? We are going to hear something we don't like, and we don't want to feel the feelings of that, because that could cause rage, disappointment, anger, like uncomfortable feelings. And then it could make you want to do something else, do something even more powerful the next time to make your point. Okay. I think we also fear the need to change. I had a very simple thing I wanted to share with my husband, which was my dream for our relationship. And I was afraid to do it, because the truth is I was afraid that if I said what I really wanted, he was going to say, well, here's how you're going to have to change. If I go tell my boss I want a promotion, she might tell me how I'm going to have to change. And if I'm not ready to hear that, I'm not going to go have the conversation. Can anyone relate to that? Might be true. Might have something to do with why you don't want to say it. Not so much that you don't want to offend the other person, but that you don't want to deal with the ramifications of bringing it up. You don't want to face whatever dark, mean thoughts you've been having. Okay. Lastly, of course, the end of a relationship, being alone, starting over, all that. So it's hilarious. People any daters here, anybody want to admit they're dating? It's a really nice place to network, people. Anybody dating? Daters, yay, daters. Daters, yay, will literally, pretend to be someone they're not in order to not be alone, to get the date, to get the next date, to stay together. Lo and behold, I think 80% of people who split up say they always knew. Why? They always were expecting it. It's like we just are not taking care of ourselves by telling the truth. So self-care, put that on the other good list. All right, Stacey, I know it's going to be hard to keep people muted, but you're it. Everybody, try to keep yourselves on mute if possible. All right, dater wannabe, so cute. All right, moving on, because I got to get to the practical information very quickly. Manipulation and control. I just want to say that when you know something and someone else doesn't, and you're purposely keeping it from them, that is for control. That is a manipulation. We do that to get what we want. See, brat. We do that to control perception of us, to look good, to save face, as Sandra said. We do that to avoid risk, and we do that to make sure nothing's being held against us, which is pure manipulation, right? In an ideal world, everyone's allowed to judge everybody on the basis of the facts. And everyone can have their own opinion. Some people are fine with herpes. Some people are not fine with herpes. Some people are fine if you live at home. Some people are not fine if you live at home. Some people want to have kids. Some people don't want to have kids. Some people need certain job experience. Some people don't. It's like the truth will set us free, folks, in terms of finding the right matches, friends, career, collaboration, dating, whatever the scenario is. The truth sets us free. And when you withhold the truth, you ruin the game. Like the game doesn't work. The puzzle pieces can't fit. And then you'll end up right. Yeah, I always knew why it wouldn't work out. No great shakes there. Okay. So imagine that actually every tough conversation that you need to have, and now start thinking of one that you might want to have, because we're going to get practical, it's spiritual. It is not just an accident or a problem or a curse or bad luck or because you did something wrong. The conversations are actually your curriculum, your opportunity to grow yourself up, to become more one-to-one with other people, to learn something about yourself, to learn something about the other person, to evolve something, to get to a dream. Okay. So instead of resisting the tough conversations, let's dive in and get good at them. Okie dokie. Who has a difficult conversation they know they need to have? Who has one in mind? I'm not going to make you say it. Just raise your hand if you know you have one. Okay. If you're willing to say anything about it, put it in the chat. Like, it's my grandmother and it's about her will. It's my brother and it's about the boxes he still has in my basement. It's my partner and it's about something they do in bed that I don't like. It's my boss and it's about changing the way the meetings are run. Okay. Like, if you're willing, put it in the chat. Let's have it in mind. When you learn this technique, I do not recommend trying it out on a hard one. I also do not. Module 10 in Inner You is the laundry list. That is for people where you have a shit list on them. Okay. This is not for that. This is for discrete one-offs. Okay. Module 10 for archaeology. Module 9 for one-off difficult conversations. So this is for like someone you're dating and you're afraid to bring up a topic, or something at work where you have conversations regularly, but you want to get this one just right, or something you want to bring up with your partner. You get the idea? So like 6 or below in difficulty for your first try. Okay. And don't do one where there's archaeology. Okay. At least not for your first time. All right. In every good, difficult conversation, there is a balance of grace and wisdom. Grace and wisdom. Sorry. We went over this. So, simple example, please pass the water. Please is the grace. Pass the water is the wisdom. If there was too much grace and you just said, please, nobody would know what you wanted. If there was only wisdom, pass the water, you sound like a jerk. There's no lube. There's no acknowledgement of the imposition on the other person. Once you say, please pass the water, the please acknowledges the other person. Pass the water is you taking care of yourself. So the balance of care for them and care for you, we're going for one-to-one balance, grace and wisdom. Any questions about grace and wisdom, the concept?
If you know it's going to hurt the other person, how do you add the grace part?
Well, you don't know. In fact, I'm amazed. I'm actually amazed by how infrequent it is that you've got a bunch of crimes and they don't have any. But I'm going to literally go over all the steps you can do to make it more graceful. So, great question. These are such good questions already. Let me just say something because I can see where this is going. If you have questions, will you please put them into the chat with a big question in caps before it? Because what we'll do is we'll finish the content. What will we do? We'll do a little interview tour. We'll do Q&A. We'll make sure we get to everything. Okay. But if we don't get to everything, please find me on Instagram, folks, because I literally record, Jen was with me last week. I literally record content Monday through Thursday every week. And I take the questions from these webinars and turn them into the content on Instagram. So it's if I don't get to your question here today now, because we do have a lot of content, I must say, I do keep in touch. I keep in touch and I come through and I give you the information that you need. So Stacy has just put my Instagram information into the chat. I would request you all go to the chat right now, 6:32, click on that bit.ly link, please, and make sure to keep in touch with me on Instagram. Okay. And obviously, if your question doesn't get answered, hit me up there, or just find it in the archives of all the content I've already posted. Okay, this is so great. The questions so far, I will be answering most, if not all. Okay, so how many of you are too far to one side? Too graceful, meaning you're too nice, you don't get to your point, you don't say what you really need, and you're always left holding the bag. Or too much wisdom, you're a steamroller, people already know people already are like, no thanks, I don't want to hear. Okay, so hands down, I'm going to do a whole vote. Hold on. Oh yeah, you can write it into the chat, but I just want hands up for too much grace. Who's too much grace? Too nice, don't get to the point, don't say what you need, push over, doormat, etc. Okay, there's a lot of them on page 2. Okay, hands down. All hands down. All hands down. Now, please raise your hand if you are too far on the side of wisdom. There's dead bodies in the wake. People complain about you. No, they don't want to have another conversation. That you're known as harsh. Okay. Less of you, because we don't like coming to calls like this and being corrected. Okay. I understand. I'm with y'all. I'm with the two.
I'm always told I'm too bossy, especially by my partner.
Wait, who's talking? Oh, Sandra. Okay. Yes, bossy. That falls into
I'm too bossy.
Too much wisdom, not enough grace. In that case. Anybody go both ways? Who goes both ways? Depends on the person, depends on the topic. I could be all grace at work and then I'm all wisdom at home or vice versa. Okay, that's possible too. So we're going for the balance. And the balance is saying the balance in a different way could be saying, I care about my own experience as much as I care about yours, which is right in the middle between doormat, codependent, and selfish narcissism. Right. So if the gamut goes all the way from narcissism, I don't care about your experience at all, I only care about mine, to selfish, to the middle, to doormat, to codependent, full blown, only care about what you feel, don't take care of myself at all. You see the gamut. Yes. So we're trying to get you in the middle where it's quite balanced, where you care about your own experience as much as you care about theirs. Some of you are going to have to crank up the grace. Some of you are going to have to crank up the wisdom. And learn the language, literally learn the language and the beats of an honest conversation. Yay. Okay. Are there any questions I should answer now, Stacy? Let me just take a moment. If anybody wants to say their question out loud, you can.
Let's see. You have, what if you have a history of trying to bring something up with someone and they respond consistently the same way despite multiple approaches?
Okay. First of all, that's laundry list, module 10. I'll show you at the end. Laurel, do you want to say anything about this, or should I just answer generally? I'm not going to make you talk. Okay. I don't see you and I don't hear you. So there needs to be a certain amount of grace in the bank account for somebody to be interested in your wisdom. That is grace according to them, not according to you. So if you are committed to a dream, module 1, right? If there is a dream, if there's a vision, if there's something you want that is delicious and worthwhile, then you have to be willing to put in the grace. In other words, caring about the other person's experience, which at a certain point could literally mean just being curious about their life, listening to them, being curious about them, caring about their day, asking them questions, rubbing their feet, like literally just what would care for them. For some people, they will not give you the grace of listening to your wisdom until you have loaded in a whole bunch of grace yourself and proven yourself trustworthy to have the conversation, which as soon as I teach you the beats of how to, you'll know how good or not you have been at having difficult conversations. Most people, when they hear the beats, they go, oh, I always skip step 1 and step 5. And I'm like, okay, good. Now you know, right? So when you see what the steps are, you can see what might have been missing in past attempts. For most of us, we are righteous and arrogant, and then we don't understand why other people don't like it. So that's a big piece. But for others, they're just literally the trust isn't there, and their own background and their own history is such that it feels too unsafe. When I first tried to get my husband to have a difficult conversation with me about our relationship, he did not want to have it. He was literally like, no, thank you. We're fine. All good. And if I did not have the accountability of having a coach that I had to report back to, I would have left it at that, and we would have had another 10 shitty years. But I knew I was going to have to answer to a coach. So I said, honey, I promise there will be no negative repercussions. Whatever you say is going to be so useful to me. I would feel honored. I would feel so appreciative if you would tell me just anything about your thoughts on this topic. So I made it as easy as I possibly could. I oozed the grace on, think lube, right? Until he was safe. He felt safe and comfortable enough to talk. Okay. So too much grace, too much wisdom. Let's see what the slides have to say. And obviously you will find yourself in the examples. So what makes a communication graceful and hearable? So these are for my too much wisdom people, the minority here today. Number 1, asking for permission. Hey, is now a good time to talk? I want to address some thoughts I was having about how my birthday went down this year. Simple, permission. Do you have time? If you don't have time, when do you have time? How much time do you think it'll take? Respect. 2, setting it up well. Listen, you're not in trouble. There's nothing wrong. I just really want to get out ahead of this thing. I value our relationship so much. I want to make sure we keep it on great, honest footing. I really want to collaborate better. And I think hashing out these couple of things on my mind would really help that. Right. So you give a context, you allay fears. And even if it's something really bad, like I think I really need to tell you something and it might upset you, but I want you to know I'm telling you this because I don't think it's fair to keep it from you. I don't think it's fair for you not to, I think you're going to be entitled to a reaction and you deserve to know the truth. And I wouldn't want you finding it out some other way. Okay. So you give a context, you tell why you're doing it. Why is so important. And then once you've revealed your thing, your complaint, your concern, your criticism, your dream, your request, you're going to go, what was that like for you? Or what do you think about that? What's your perspective on this? What do you remember from that experience? And then you're going to listen, which is one of the most graceful things you can do, which most of us don't do or certainly don't do well. I have a lot of content about that, actually. So it's so important. So those are the elements of grace that if you weave them through, the beats of a difficult conversation, the art of a difficult conversation, you will be ensured that the other person feels cared for. Doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Doesn't mean they're not going to be feelings. Doesn't mean you're going to agree. But it's going to convey respect if you follow those things. Okay, so how do you bring it up with someone? Hey, would it be okay to talk about here? I think I have a slide. Hold on. Maybe I even have a slide on how to bring something up. Let's see. Yeah, hey, would it be okay to talk to you about something? I'm a little nervous, but I'd so much rather hear the truth than make anything up. So here it is. When you didn't get back to me after 3 dates, 2 days, 5 texts, fill in the blank, I wasn't sure what was going on for you. What was going on for you? Simple. Notice almost all of that, all of those lines almost were grace. Almost all of those lines were grace. The only wisdom was, I'm a little nervous, right? Explaining how you feel. That's wisdom. And when you didn't get back to me in 2 days, I thought blah, blah, blah. Okay. Everything else is grace. See how it's kind of like a grace and wisdom sandwich? Very, very digestible. Wisdom is telling the truth about something, giving your opinion about something, sharing your perspective about something, explaining an experience. When I go into work with couples, I literally teach them how to talk about every single experience that's bothering them on their laundry list with the other one. And we go one by one by one by one until it is all clean and settled for good. That is not impossible. That is possible. That is possible. Okay. It takes work. It takes effort. It takes training. It takes moving through a proven method, but it is possible. So do not think there is ever a relationship where if 2 people want to be resolved, they can be resolved. There are the tools. The other thing you could be revealing in the wisdom part is your desire. Hey, I really want to try this in our sex life. Hey, I really want to do that at work. Hey, so a desire or a dream. So those are the kinds of things that you will be relaying, conveying. Does this apply to most people's issues? Like did that cover sort of overview cover what most people are dealing with having to talk about, raises, promotions, etc.? I'll wait to hear any answers, and I'll also answer a couple questions while I wait. Please put questions in the chat with a big question next to it. Christy writes, we need to talk and the like are going to instantly raise hackles, and the ensuing grace parts can easily seem smarmy schmoozy. How do we work around that? Yeah, you really have, we say write it out first. I'm actually going to take you through all the preparation you do now, because how you say it, yeah, we need to talk is absolutely a trigger. What you're going to say is, hey, I've been thinking about a couple things and I kind of can't get them out of my head. I don't want to keep talking to myself about it. I'd really rather talk to you. When do you have 15 minutes? It's about my birthday. Right? So it's just like, I'm having issues. When would be a good time for you? Okay. Not we need to talk. You're in trouble. If they are in trouble, you're not ready for the talk yet. Don't do it yet. At least don't do it and call it the handout method. That is what we call a fight. I'm actually fine with fighting. Just don't call it the art of honesty. That's all. Okay. What if with a difficult person where it might be hard to change dynamics or other person requiring to end things? Okay. Priya, will you write that again so I can understand it better? I didn't quite get the question. Okay. So this is going to help. This is how you prepare so that your words really work. Proven method, people. Attempted over and over again. First, you affirm you don't know what the other person will say. How many times does Lori like to say this point? I'm going to say it a million more times. Like, we do not believe this. Our chicken brat and weather reporter are voting for it all to stay the same. And you get to stay on Instagram. You get to stay eating chocolate. You get to stay drinking wine. You get to stay in bed. You get to stay watching TV if the brat and the chicken and the weather reporter win. So you really have to train yourself. I do not know what the other person's going to say. Just because I think it's true, just because I've proven it true in the past, does not mean it's true now. Then you have to resolve yourself. What is my intention for my future with this person? Okay. If your honest answer to that question is, I want to stick it to them. I want to extract an apology. I want them to know how much they hurt me. I want them to know how much they disappointed me. They need to know they were wrong. I validate those feelings, but you should not do the difficult conversation if that is your answer to the question, what is the purpose of this conversation? If you're being honest with yourself and you go, what's the purpose of this conversation? And anything snarky comes out of your brain, don't do it yet. Module 8 is for you. Don't worry, we have a module for that. It's just we happen to be doing module 9 right now. Module 9 is for when you're like, I want to date like I mean it. I want to be honest. I want to be back in love again with my partner. I want my friendship back. I want to get along great with my siblings, mother, father, sister, brother. Like, it's for that. It's for when you're like, yeah, I want it to be better and I'm willing to be the change. Okay. That's for when it's for. And then articulate why you want to do it. I want to feel more connected. I want to know that we're being honest with each other. I want to collaborate better. I want to clear the air so I'm not driving myself nuts. Okay. I'm going back to the slide. Write down what you want to say, including, do you have time to talk? Including your purpose. And including everything you want to say, and then including a line that says, listen. Literally write it down. So powerful when you mind-body connection, you write it down, you remember. And then practice it. Okay. When you do Inner You Life, which is the online digital program of the Handel Method, you get a buddy. Buddies are amazing. Coaches are even more amazing. If you can afford a coach, get a coach. Probably 50% of what we do with clients and our coaching calls is designing and practicing difficult conversations because they're so key to getting your dreams in so many areas. Yeah. By the way, let me actually take a very quick commercial break right at this moment to say that if anybody is looking for a private coach and you're thinking, oh, I'm going to need someone to walk me through this and really practice these with me and encourage me and cheer me on and help me figure out which ones I want to do first. And I have so many. And if any part of you is like, I need more help than a webinar or a digital program, you need a private coach. And our private coaches are amazing. There's not a million of us. There's like 20 of us. We all walk this talk. We live and breathe this. We do this every day with clients and in our own lives, which is why you can actually be encouraged by us in ways that, you might not be elsewhere. So if you want a private coach, I'm going to offer some free consultations right now. I do not have a lot of them. I am very busy leading webinars and working with clients and couples, but I leave a couple slots open in my week each week to speak with folks about private coaching. If it is not financially responsible, do not get a private coach. I'm just going to tell you not to. Don't come on a call with me because if you don't have the money, I'm going to tell you not to. That's what we have Inner You for. Do not spend money on private coaching if you can't afford it. Do not. Okay. But if you want to talk to me about that possibility, please click the link that Stacy is sending you in the chat right now. It is the link to my personal calendar for a consultation. If you're good with that, Stacy? Yeah. It's already there. 6:48 people, go click on that. And if you want a spot, make sure that you click now because again, they're limited. And if we need to give you a different link later, if the slots run out, right? If the slots run out, I'm going to want to know. So if you want to take us up on the consultation, do that now. Okay. Now, right. I was saying, that's how I got on this tangent, is that 50% of what we do with private coaching clients is probably creating these, writing them out and practicing them. But if you do Inner You Life, the digital program, you get a buddy and you can practice them with your buddy. Not quite as incisive as coaches, but also valuable. If you don't have a buddy that knows the Handel Method, you get a buddy from your life. If you don't get a buddy from your life, you use your dog or cat or turtle or frog or ferret or whatever you have. If you don't, you use the mirror and you literally do it out loud to yourself. Okay, so there are zero excuses for not practicing before you do it in real life. Does anyone want to give an amen about how great it is to practice? Does anyone want to just write into the chat or just nod and go oh my God, yes, night and day when I practice and when I don't practice? Can I tell you how many times I practiced giving this webinar? So many times. I could not even count how many times I practiced giving this webinar. You know how bad it would be if I never practiced? It was really bad the first time, you guys. Okay, so practice, really, really, really helpful. What else does the slide want to tell us? Get permission. I already said it, but I repeat it on purpose because we literally forget to say, hey, I want to talk with you about this. Is it all right? That's another word for consent. Consent is something really, really important for us to all learn. We are not allowed to just enter a room, enter a space, enter a person, enter anything without permission if we're attempting to respect the other person. So you ask permission and you wait for consent before you go. Otherwise, it is what we call an ambush. Ambushes don't go well. Sometimes they can be very successful fights, but that is not the art of honesty. Okay, so no ambushing. Awesome. Okay, and last but not least, give the context and admit your own feelings. So all of that is for setup. Like do all that before you even dive in. And Yele, I think this also speaks a little bit to like, you're going to practice it and you're going to hear how it sounds. And it better sound so nice and so great and so clear and so awesome that you feel good. You feel really, really good about it. That's one of the ways to make sure that the other person's going to be able to hear it. Even if it's terrible news, right? You're gonna frame it with, I'm so sorry. I want to know how to make amends. I know this was wrong. You know, like there are ways to frame. Okay.
Right. Super helpful. Thank you.
Good. Now here are the beats of the actual conversation. Like this is literally the program you're going to follow. Everybody feel free to write this down. These are the beats you're going to follow. And I'm going to go through them one by one so that you feel clear on exactly what they mean. And you're going to hear repeat now because I'm purposely reinforcing the most important things. While you're looking at this slide, Stacey, are there any questions you think I should answer right at this moment that would be timely while people are taking this in?
Let me see here. There was one. Do you have any tips on how to deal with someone who often is defensive or dismissive, no matter how much grace you're using?
Yeah, those are people who actually have a shit list on you that you haven't heard yet. Okay, so instead of worrying about your shit list for the moment or your difficult conversation, you're going to have to elicit theirs. Does the person who wrote this actually want to talk about it or no? Who wrote this? You want to talk about it?
Hi, Lori.
Hi, is it Jacqueline?
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay.
So it's interesting you said that. So there's an interesting power dynamic here with someone that's one level in seniority above me. And the problem is they make a lot of mistakes. And because of the nature of our job, I sometimes have to let her know, hey, I changed this, I have to change this so that certain things are clear because they have to sync between both teams.
Yeah.
So I always think, actually most of the things I don't even point out because I don't want to make her defensive. So finally it's gotten to the point where things had to be realigned for our systems, and she just wouldn't listen to what the problems were. And there was a big misunderstanding. And because she's always so defensive, I can't even bring the problem fully to her. And so I wonder if it's because of that, for example, I can see all her mistakes or maybe her blind spots. And I wonder if that's causing the defensiveness. And it's hard to address because of that level of seniority. I want to respect her,
right?
Not make her feel like I'm disrespecting her rank.
Right. Well, the cool thing is if you actually really do respect someone, it is usually conveyed. Mm-hmm. Like that. So if you actually do respect her, that's probably being conveyed. If you actually don't respect her, no matter how nice the words you say, that will be conveyed. And I'm not saying which you are, Jacqueline, but that's just like human.
Oh,
human.
Absolutely. I always think set the vibe that you want the other person to have with you. So just Brene Brown's clear is kind, always be clear, bring things up neutrally, talk about the objective, not so much the personal, hold back emotions. Absolutely. I'm very conscious of the energy you give out, maybe eliciting the same in return. It's so defensive. I can't even think.
Right. So the difficult conversation you need to have is, my experience is that when I bring something to you, you're defensive. And So you'd go, let's do the beats here. I'll do your example, Jacqueline, with the beats. Okay. This is great. Listen, what should we call her, Jacqueline? What do you want to name her? Judy? Norma? Pamela. Okay. Pamela. There's something on my mind. I'm quite nervous to bring it up to you because I do not want to, I don't want you to, I don't want you to think I'm upset or anything, but it is important to me to discuss something about our dynamic that I think is going to make us way better at working together. Is now a good time? I think we need about 10 minutes alone. Nope, not a good time. Okay, great. How about tomorrow at 3? Wonderful. Okay. Or yes, now's a good time. Okay, great. So you see, you just did permission, context, and feelings. You just covered all those. Everybody catch that? Okay.
I love that. This is disarming. Thank you so much. I appreciate
Okay, great.
it.
Then you're going to do the wisdom beat. Okay.
Oh.
Wisdom is, listen, I know I've come to you probably once or twice a quarter for the last 3 years with something that I found that isn't working. And I think that's right. I think I'm just doing my job. When I do that, I feel good about it. Like, I think it makes us a good team that I can like back you up in that way. But sometimes when I bring it to you, like 1 out of every 2 times, you say blah, 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 or you do blah, 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 or you look blah, blah, blah. And I get the feeling like you really wish I hadn't said it. Like, it's not working for you. Either that I said it or how I said it or something's not working for you. And I don't know what to do. That leaves me scared, actually, to bring it to you the next time. Please tell me what you think is going on. Like, I would love your perspective. Jacqueline, you hear how graceful that was?
Yes. And invites her to just give that feedback and maybe give some context. Yes. Thank you.
And you're just totally not making her defensive or like, you're just like, hey, this is what I'm experiencing. What do you think? Help me out. And by the way, if you're dealing with a narcissist or someone who's not well or an a-hole who you shouldn't be working with or in love with, you might get a shitty response. But most people, if you create that much grace, are going to be like, God, I'm so sorry you feel that way. Let me think about, they're going to come back with something interesting that you didn't know. Isn't that great? And then you're going to listen and you're going to take notes. Why do you think we should take notes, folks? Why take notes? Any thoughts?
Reflect, remember and reflect.
Yeah, so you can reflect on it later, so you can remember what was said. Great. Why else take notes? To show we cared. Yeah, Jacqueline?
I was going to say, sometimes it can be hard to process it all in the moment. So then you have the actual notes to reflect on if you didn't hear it correctly.
Exactly. Bring your notes and take your notes. And that includes for boyfriends, girlfriends, dates. If somebody thinks you're a loser for taking notes or bringing notes, they're not your person. Don't hang out with them. Okay. Like, if they want the best of you and they want you to have the best of them, notes are helpful. Okay. So take notes. So you're not thinking about what you want to say. You're literally listening to what they're saying and taking it down. And then yes, Dilo or Dilo, I'm not sure which, really smart. Okay. You want to be able to show you care. That's why you're doing the note business. You want to plan the next steps and have that all in writing. I love everything everyone's saying here. I wish I had another hour and a half to go through all of it with you. Okay. So you're going to listen, you're going to take notes so that you can then reflect back. This is what I'm hearing you say. Reflecting back what you have heard does not mean you agree. Don't worry. I do a whole Instagram live on this. If you're not following me on Instagram, please follow me on Instagram so we can continue this conversation. But listening to someone with your full attention and the deep desire to understand their experience and their world does not mean you condone their behavior. It does not mean you agree with them. It does not mean they're right. It doesn't mean they get their way. It doesn't mean you have to do this or that for them. Am I clear? Is everyone crystal clear? I hope nobody checked out for that statement because that is so important. Granting someone the generosity of your full listening is a gift. It is divine of you. It is awesome of you. Please do it all the time. It is so, if more people did it, the world would be a happier, peaceful place. And it is hard. It is hard to put your own thoughts aside and care about someone else's experience. in the moment. It is hard, but do it, even if you totally disagree. And I promise magic. Has anyone ever had that experience? You're like, I put it aside and I just empathetically listened and then everything shifted for the better. Anyone ever have that? Chelsea. Okay, good. Chelsea. I got one. Okay. Yele. Great. Okay. Yele, isn't it the middle of the night for you? What time is it?
I'm sorry. I'm actually in Illinois. I'm from the Netherlands.
Oh, you're in Illinois. You're not in the Netherlands. Okay, great. No, it's early. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Some people come to these in the middle of the night. I understand. It's important. Okay. Awesome.
I will if I was home.
You would. You're the kind of guy who would. Okay, fabulous. All right. Once you have understood their world, and if you listen well, it will generally unfold nicely. You will then make plans for resolution. So for example, let's go back to Jacqueline, right? So let's say Jacqueline's person defends herself. Oh, I didn't mean to. I didn't realize you were taking it that way. That's just how I am. It's my genetics, blah, 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 blah. Excuse. Jacqueline will then be like, oh, I got you. You didn't mean to convey that. That was just, it was just, culture clash or whatever, whatever she says, you're going to reflect it back. And then you're going to make a deal. All right. Thanks, Pamela. I'm really glad that I shouldn't be afraid to bring you feedback in the future. That's like great news for me. I'm going to just proceed with the plan that if I see anything, I will alert you within 24 hours. How does that sound? And of course, I'm always going to bring it to you, in such and such a method and a way. And it'll just be between us, and you let me know if I'm ever, overstepping my bounds or whatever, something like that. And then you'll agree, and let's revisit this in a month and see if it's working out, or let's revisit this once a quarter and see if our plan is working. Jacqueline, questions, comments, concerns?
Love that. I love a deal. It reinforces the understanding. I think that's great.
Okay, so practical steps, practical tools, folks. Really, really great. Okay, so promises and plans. I think I'm going to end with that beat. Most people skip the first step and the last step. Those are the biggest pitfalls. You don't ask permission, you do an ambush, and then it's a fight. Or you forget, you get so excited that you did it and you were brave and you said the thing, and you forget the promises and the plans. Okay? Don't forget either of those. I dare you not to. Okay. Let me see who's off mute. And then Stacy, tell me if there's any other questions you think I should answer now. Everybody put your remaining questions in the chat now. With the word question before it, please. If you wanted a consultation with me, please click that link that Stacy put in at 6:48 regarding private coaching. And please tell us if you're not seeing any availability. Please let us know that so we can get you another link. And then I want to just close out a story. I just want to see if I can find who's off mute. Can you find them, Stacy? Like, it's a mystery.
I'll mute everyone, and then you'll just have to unmute yourself real quick, okay?
Got it. No, you're all set. It's done.
Thanks, Jen. Okay. Sorry, guys. It's my blessing and curse that I hear everything. It's like makes me a very good coach, but it makes me a disaster with competing noise. Okay. Just to close out the story, when I came to coaching, I just wanted to work on my career. But it turned out I was tanking my health, tanking my love relationship, and also very uninspired in my career and my family relationships. And my coach required me first to work on my relationship with my partner, which included writing this beautiful dream, module 1, about what I wanted, which was connection and intimacy and all that good stuff. And then sharing it with him, which was my first difficult conversation in the first month of coaching, which blew my mind that she actually made me go have it. And remember, if you recall, I brought it up. Hey, honey, would now be a good time. I want to share a dream I wrote in my coaching and get your feedback. He said, no, thank you. We're good. I think we don't need that. And I said, please, and then he eventually agreed to listen. But then when I asked him his opinion, he said, I don't really, I don't have any comments. And again, I had to grace it up and go, please, I just want to know why you think we don't have this. Like, what is missing? What's your perspective? And then I listened, y'all, which is not my forte always with him. And because I listened and I promised him it would be safe for him to tell me the truth, and I was ready to take notes, and he knew I had to account to somebody, he told me that he understood that I like to talk and all, but that he had the experience that whenever he tried to talk to me, he got no more than 3 sentences out before I interrupted him. And I would interrupt him on off topic based on my own anxieties, nothing to do with what he was saying. And he said, Lori, that actually, I know this is weird for you, but it feels like a physical assault to me. I cannot get my train of thought back. So I stopped trying to talk to you years ago, he says. So he tells me the truth, right? And I'm like, I say it back. So what I heard you say is, you never actually got a chance to talk to me. I said, and I really got it. I was like, I said I would love, honor, and cherish you in front of all our friends. And then I never listened to a whole story because I have my own agenda. And that is not okay for you. That stinks for you. And you could see him being like, oh my God, she's listening. Oh my God, she gets it. Oh my God, his whole life passing before his eyes. And mine was too, because then I realized I've been getting this feedback my whole life and I never let it in. I never wanted to let go of the control and the manipulation and hear the feedback and change. And I decided in that moment, because I have accountability and a coach, I'm gonna change. And I said, I get it. I'm sorry. And I said, I'm sorry for real, probably for the first time ever. That's not okay anymore. And I'm not going to interrupt you anymore. You have my promise. I made a plan, right? You have my promise. I'm not going to interrupt anymore. We're going to check in at the end of each day. I'm going to owe you a chore. And I still to this day do one of his chores every time I interrupt to this day, 15 years later, still do that and still need that because I still want to interrupt. So there was a plan in place, an accountability, a follow-up structure, and a new design. And guess what, folks? The guy has a lot to say. He puts the good stuff at the end. I'm a Jewish New Yorker. I like the point at the beginning. He was raised by a Presbyterian minister who tells the whole story and then the moral comes at the end. So we have very different cultures. But the payoff for learning how to have a conversation with my husband was everything I ever dreamed of. It was the dream, the intimacy, the connection, the love, all the things I wanted that I was absolutely trashing until that moment. So this methodology is very good for negotiating promotions and raises. It is very good for organizing friends and family to a cause. It is also very good at saving a marriage and creating the kind of love relationships you want when you're dating. And so many other things. Folks, I have taught you many useful bits of information, practical tips, ways of thinking, warning label. It makes no difference unless you put it into action. Truly, and it'll go away by tomorrow, by the way. Yes, it will go away by tomorrow. You have to practice this. You have to learn this. And the way, and you need accountability, right? The way to make change is to be accountable for that change. That means a coaching program, a coach, a buddy, a set of exercises, a set of tools, a proven process to go through to get the change that you want. Obviously, we are a coaching company. We teach a comprehensive methodology of coaching that applies to all different areas of life. In the past, up until a couple of years ago, we only did that through private coaching. So you could spend thousands of dollars. And again, if you have that, rock on, you should totally do it. But that was too much money for the wide masses of humans. And so we created something that's affordable for everybody to be able to go through the process of articulating what you want and then knocking down all those obstacles in the way. And that's Inner You Life, which I'll show you at the end. It's affordable for everyone. It is because it's online, it's digital, it's self-paced. And though it is completely self-guided information material, in other words, every coaching session we give to a private client is pre-recorded for you to use as you wish, when you wish for the rest of your life. But because we know people need more handholding than that, we also throw in a private coaching session, which is a $325 value, and a group coaching process, which is a 6-week class starting in May that you go through with a coach and a group of people from which, of course, you find your buddy or buddies, or you can get your buddy in the program, either way. So this is the program to articulate what you most want, remove the obstacles, learn the art of difficult conversations, and follow through on the actions that you want. And you are being offered this at an extremely, extremely reduced price, which is $325 total to own it for the rest of your life. There is a discount code for you to get it at that price, and that is what Stacy has just put into the chat. It is a special link unique to this group and anyone you share it with. It's fine with me if you share it with friends and family. Just make sure you give them this particular link, and I'd like everyone to click on it right now and see what it goes to. This link gets you the $325 price until midnight tomorrow. Purposely time sensitive to encourage you to take action. And the normal price is $425. So if you wait till after tomorrow, you're welcome to still come. It's just not going to be as inexpensive. If $325 scares you, there is a payment plan. Please confirm for me that when you see the ways to sign up, it says at the bottom, select payment plan, and that you see that as an option. Somebody just confirm that with me, please. All right, so you've got two choices. Continue the status quo, inch along to dreams, find some dreams quite elusive, or choose a proven method to get you to those dreams, including this very, very well-worn strategy of how to have an art of difficult conversation. I promise you that it works if you press play. If you will not press play, do not buy this. It is not worth $325. If you press play in the first module, you will have definitely gotten your $325 worth. We purposely price it so everyone can have it and everyone can afford it and everyone can dive in. And then we purposely throw in gobs of free stuff so that you're supported along the way if you bump into any struggles on your way. Questions, comments, concerns, and then I will give you a quick tour. Let me answer some of these general questions. Will there be a follow-up recording? I believe yes, if you're a member of Be Social Change. What if grace turns into vulnerability? Good. This scenario seems to put you in a vulnerable position. I can see me being scared to bring the feedback because I won't know how to react well to their evaluation of me. Perfect. Take notes. And if you get overwhelmed, tell them you will get back to them with your response, and then go process your response with your buddy, your friend, your therapist, your coach. Okay, great. How do you approach the conversation to someone who constantly gossips to you, but you don't want to hear it? You design the conversation. I know I've been engaging in this with you for years. It's been so fun, but I read something or I saw a podcast or I've been thinking, and I really want to try to stop gossiping. Would you be up for supporting me on that? Would that be okay with you? I really want to still connect with you. I think we can find a lot of other good ways. Now, if you keep listening to examples and you keep practicing this in community, you will start to get the lingo of how to say something to someone that is not judgmental, but is an invitation to collaborate. All right. $5 to get the recording and slides. Amazing. So good. Get all the links you need, folks. Get all the links you need, and know that I will. How do you hold difficult conversations when there are deep cultural differences and even power dynamics at play? When you are not on equal platforms and negotiating is not easily realized. Does the Handle program cover those issues? Yes, 100% actually. We cover those issues too in depth to speak to fully now, but there might be different ways to approach whether you feel like you're in a 1-to-2 and you're the 1 and they're the 2, or you're the 2 and they're the 1. We teach you how to be 1-to-1, even with people above you on a hierarchy. Really good question. Okay, people. Some folks like to see inside of Inner You to just know what the heck I'm talking about, and I don't blame you. So I'm going to show you real quick. This is what it looks like. I happen to have Inner You life, love, and career. because I like all the textbooks. Inner You Life and Love will both be discounted for you right now. So if you are dating or you have any issues with love, you might want to pop that one into your shopping cart too, while you get it for $325. It is profoundly awesome. I wish I had all night to tell you about that. But I'm focused on life today. Here on the homepage, this is where you sign up for private coaching. This is where you sign up for your group coaching. You can even see that a class is starting in May, where you just RSVP to that once you're in Inner You. But the action happens over here in the Humanual. Remember I said 12 modules? Check it out. Dream writing, inner dialogue, personal integrity, how to get your head under new management, your personality traits, lying. We love talking about lying. Hauntings, how your past shapes you, the purge, how to get yourself unstuck, difficult conversations, today's topic. Remember the mother load, module 10, archaeological issues. 11, the parent trap. Sorry, we can't get out of having to deal with parents, but we save it till the end when you're nice and supple and you've already had lots of dreams come true. And then a bunch of wrap up and bonuses. In each module, of course, you get the coaching that you can come back to year after year, an example, a homework assignment, and frequently asked questions. And then you go in and you do it. You literally go do it, right? You get all your coaching here, your downloads, blah, 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 save. You then share, if you wish, with a buddy and or with the private coach when you use your free private coaching session. Again, if you wish, that's an amazing value because they will give you specific feedback on your actual homework, not just a chit chat. That is the hugest, quickest overview. I am going to stop sharing my screen and see if there's any other. Did everybody get a consult that needed one? Let's check on that. Did we do that? Did we accomplish that, Stacy? I see a bunch of people did, but if there's anybody wishing to get a consult that didn't, please let Stacy know. Thank you for the compliments. I'd be happy to stay on and answer a couple more questions, Jen, but I want to be respectful that I'm already a couple of minutes over. So let me know your thoughts.
I want to invite anybody who needs to hop off to hop off. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for being a part of this conversation, Lori. Obviously, this was incredible and so informative. If you do want to stay on and keep talking with Lori, you are more than welcome to. I'm going to stick around and of course, join in this awesome conversation. So thank you again for joining. And you'll hear from Be Social Change tonight with all of the links that you heard if you weren't able to grab them in the chat.
Thank you. All right. Jennifer writes, how do you hold difficult conversations when there are deep? Oh, we already addressed that one. Too big to address, but such a good question. Cheryl, thank you for sharing. She wishes she had approached one in the past with this information at hand. Yes, I totally understand. You have to forgive yourself that. And then you can even go back to conversations you did badly and say, listen, I think I did this conversation badly last time. I'm really sorry. I'm going to try again. Can we try again? Right? So depending on how much damage you did, that could work. All right. What else? I feel that I do have, Kizzy says, I do have a good balance with the wisdom and grace, but still find that what is taken is a reaction and not a response, or not even heard at all. I wonder about how and if my nonverbal communication add or take away. For sure, nonverbals could be at play, but if someone's not interested in hearing your wisdom, the chances are they have a shit list on you. And the first thing you really need to do is go, here's what I think might be your shit list on me. Is that right? And let them vomit. You take notes. You give it back to them. You see if you want to make any changes to make them happy before they're going to likely be ready to listen to what you want to make you happy. That is not fair. That is just how it is with humans. And a hot tip, if you really want the result that you want. Also, module 8, very helpful. Very, very, very helpful with this. Okay, let me see if there's anything else. Awesome. Christy, I just saw Handel Group. I've thought you were Handel Group. No, Handel. It's the name of the company. It's just the last name of the sisters who started the company. Okay. Anybody need to see Inner You Life or Inner You Love again, or any further parts of it, or have any other questions for me about how that works? I think I answered all the other questions. Oh, wait, I just found a new question. I can plan / practice the first part, but the reaction, negotiation words, and language then freeze in my head. Help with that. Yes, Christy, great. So the more you practice this, the better you'll get on the fly because you don't know what's going to happen. So you cannot prepare for the last 2 beats. No matter how much you prepare, you cannot prepare other than role playing and guessing. So you would freeze if you're someone who thinks they would freeze. So what I recommend is if you can't deal, once the person has downloaded their stuff to you and you've taken notes on it and you've said back what you heard, you just go, I'm going to get back to you. And you take time and you take a minute and you collect your thoughts. And then you go in for the next difficult conversation. So you never have to keep going. You can call a timeout anytime. Anytime. Is there a grace threshold for those that lean toward more grace than wisdom? I don't know about a threshold, but there is what I would consider to be a balance. And in good relationships, the balance stays like this is the pendulum. The pendulum swings like this, not like this. Okay, so look for the balance. Oh my God, I just heard my child shriek. Okay. Not in a bad way. Don't worry. All right. I think we got to all the questions now. Let me see if there's anything at the bottom.
Herba has her hand raised, Lori, if you want to.
Okay, great. Hi, Prubra.
Hi.
Go ahead.
Hi, Lori. Great presentation. I learned so much, and it reiterates so many interesting concepts from so many other working groups that I've been attending as a part of this whole year. One question to sort of piggyback over the point you were just making. You take in, when you're listening, you take in their feedback, you reflect, you ask for time to get back to them, and then go back. Hopefully you go back. What if the person at that point refuses to engage and has a style which is always coming at you, but not really taking it in? Is there any hopes of ever trying to improve upon or bring that relation to a place of equal footing?
Let me just say, there are human beings that are narcissists. There are human beings that have other mental health issues, and there are assholes. You don't have to engage with any of those people. Or if you do have to engage because they're members of your family, you can readjust your expectations and lead a much happier life. Or you can discontinue engaging. But there's a category of people that we think are assholes that are assholes because of the dynamic we're in with them, not because they're fundamentally assholes. And for that, I have a much more complicated answer, which is do the whole Handel method. Like actually deal with your own dreams. Like I thought my husband was an asshole till I dealt with my own dreams. Like when I dealt with my own dreams and my own crappy relationship with food and my own lack of follow through on my own passions, I realized how much he was looking like a jerk when it wasn't him. So there's a much longer answer to how do you find people to be less asshole, like less asshole-ish? That's a long, awesome question to ask, but I don't know if you're talking about a narcissist, someone who's not well, or a jerk you don't need to be in a relationship with, in which case there's many assholes in this world that I'm just not interacting with. And then there's some in my family that I'm going to make sure I figure out how to have a great relationship with because they're in my family, or I want to be friends with them or work with them. Does that make sense? So it really depends is my long answer.
No, it's creating all sorts of aha moments in my mind, because you brought up something very interesting and something that's not discussed very often, which is age, and being erratic has something to do with how certain people might forget things, say one thing one day and forget it the very next day.
Yeah,
and this is like a elephant in the room that we don't even address.
Exactly. I would say, how I said 50% of what we do in private coaching is art of difficult conversations. Another 20% is helping people to wake up to the reality of what they're dealing with and tell the truth about it, which is just so helpful. It's so helpful to have somebody go, that's what dementia is. You don't expect to have a good connection with, like, you gotta start to understand 24 hours in a day. What's dementia? What's autism? What's a mental health issue? So we can start to have the right expectations of people and have fun instead of like banging our heads against the wall about so many things. Oh, I could go on all night, you guys. So fun. How long does the program usually take? Is it self-paced? It is self-paced and it takes as long as you want it to. I recommend putting in an hour or 2 a week and doing it for the rest of your life. It's like the gym. You're welcome to take breaks. You're welcome to do it however you wish. It is literally designed to be used however you wish. and it's there for you forever. NRU is there for you forever. But, I'd say 1 to 2 hours a week if you wish, and everyone's different. I don't like to pressure anybody to get through it faster or slower than you should.
Lori, there was a question about the differentiating that in career. Do you want to address that? What's the difference between that and career?
Yeah. NRU career is $650. NRU life is $325. The difference that NRU career has is that all the examples are about career. The basic content's the same. All the examples are about career. And there are 3 modules that are not in NRU life. One on time management, which you guys are going to hear about next month. One on something called taglines, and one that on something called the personal integrity model. So there's a bit more information in NRU career and only career examples. So you decide if that's worth the extra, I can't do the math real quick. If that's worth the extra $325 for you to get those 3 modules, rock on, get career. It comes with all the same bells and whistles, free private coaching, free group coaching. Yep, same. But if you want to save the money and do the less expensive version with a little bit less content, which will still keep you busy your whole life, go NRU life. Thanks for that. Thanks, Stacey. All right, people. Thank you for your... I wasn't saying autism, mental illness, and being an asshole are the same. I was just saying there's different things that require different expectations. That's all. I'm definitely differentiating mental illness, autism, and being an asshole. Please do not confuse them as the same. No, no, no. All right. Anything else? Good. Jen, thank you for letting me be with your awesome humans.
Oh my gosh, this was such a pleasure. Lori, thank you so much for guiding us in this amazing conversation. Everybody who's here, I hope that you all are just going to take some time after this to keep reflecting and keep practicing. I certainly am. I've been typing away my notes, and I just so appreciate what you are doing. So appreciate you, Lori, and the whole Handel group, and can't wait to see you on May 4th for Mastering Time.
Yeah. Wait, there's one more question. What if they're not ready to vomit their shit list on you? Just keep asking them how their day was and listen to the answer. You just keep proving that you're safe to talk to. And if you have teenagers like I do, you just literally sit there and be like, hi. Just be near them. You're just inputting, you're just building trust, right? Because people know they're jerks, we know we're jerks, but you got to be safe to let your jerkhood out. And then if you're still loved when you let your jerkhood out, that jerkhood transforms into actual good stuff. That's a wonderful summary. Definitely quote me on that. All right. Getting late for me. Love you people. Mwah. Goodbye.
Have a great one, everybody. Thanks again
for joining. Folks. Thank you.